Hello and welcome to the program Tsula's Big Adventures with me, Tsula. This episode is about the Okavango Delta in Botswana. This is part 2 in this 2-part series about Botswana. Part 1 is about my visit to Chobe National Park in Botswana. And in that video, I also provided a brief history of Botswana. I'll provide a link to that video in the description below. This, part 2, is about the Okavango Delta, located in northern Botswana. Botswana has very diverse wildlife, which attracts tourism, and northern Botswana has one of the largest remaining populations of the highly endangered wild dog. Also, northern Botswana is where you find the Okavango Delta, one of the largest inland deltas in the world. The water in the delta does not flow into any ocean. Botswana receives about 18 inches of rain per year, most of it December to February, their summer, and the Okavango Delta floods between June and August, and it swells to 3 times its normal size, drawing animals from afar, creating a great concentration of wildlife and tourists. Then in the spring, September to November, the water evaporates and only lagoons are left, which become major watering holes for animals and for birds, with over 400 bird species found there. In the delta, there are many termite mounds where a tree takes root, and eventually this develops into an island. So the delta has intermittent islands. We started our journey to the Okavango Delta from Kasane Airport, which is near Chobe National Park. From Kasane Airport, we took a small bush plane on Mac Air, and the plane only holds 8 people, and it took us to a dirt airstrip. I prayed, and we landed safely at Kadizora, one of the concessions in the Okavango Delta. I've wanted to go to the Okavango Delta for years, after watching a National Geographic program about it. Our guide from Kadizora was named Sparks, and he picked us up at the airstrip and he drove us to Kadizora camp. The camp itself was fraught with problems. The campfire ring and the dining area are located under an enormous Marula tree, blocking any view of the sky at all. You cannot see a single star while sitting around the campfire in the evening. The lounging area had a 24-hour LED light, and the swimming pool, which was about the only area where you could see the southern part of the sky, was partially blocked, except facing north, where I could see the Big Dipper, which I could see at home year-round. And the pool had an obnoxious 24-hour light. I don't know why. It was freezing at night, and no one wanted to swim in that pool. And sadly, our pitiful room faced north as well. I asked the manager, Aiden, if we could move to a room that was facing south, and he said no. He told me to look at the sky from this open area next to the staging area for the staff, which I did go check out after dark, but it was heavily lighted and completely unacceptable. But I asked Aiden if I could stand outside of the deck where I could see the sky to the south, and he said no. There's an electric fence around the camp. This would be an ideal place to stargaze. I can see the whole sky all the way around, no obstructions. I could put my big binoculars right here, but Aiden told me that it's not safe after it gets dark because of all the animals. So maybe the swimming pool would be a good spot. Even though the camp is surrounded by an electrical fence. After high tea, we went on our afternoon safari with our new companions, a British couple and a Swiss couple who spoke French. And the husband was also named Jean-Luc, just like the French guy at Chobe National Park, and he also barely spoke English. Oh well, they were nice. Sparks asked us if we were tired of looking at impalas and whether we were interested in the trees and other parts of nature, and everyone said we weren't tired of impalas at all and we loved all of nature. So I got excited because I thought, great, a guide who will stop for birds. Well, it didn't turn out that way, despite his opening comments. We saw some giraffes, some zebras, huge groups of elephants.
That boy chased away the mother. So I don't know why.
Let's keep it true between the two females.
Yeah. So that was a boy
No,
chased
definitely
the
no
mother.
tusks.
No, it's not such.
That was a boy chased the mother. I don't know. It's not a good
They
boy.
do the foot swinging like that. That little baby is so tiny. So tiny.
Tout bébé là.
Oui. Il y en a énormément, c'est incroyable.
And then a beautiful sunset in the Delta. In the Okavango Delta, you can stay as long as you want. There's no closing time like there is at Chobe National Park. But we headed back for dinner when it got dark. I tried to stargaze that evening with my 15 by 70 binoculars from the deck of our room, but I didn't want to look at the Big Dipper because I could see the Big Dipper at home. But that's all I could see from our deck, so we went to bed. The next morning, we went on a safari with Sparks, but the Swiss couple didn't feel well, and so it was just us and the British couple. And we saw a bat-eared fox at the airstrip, and then we found 2 male lions. But I was disappointed that the lions had collars.
Bless you. I've already eaten, guys. I don't need to.
Yummy.
Magnificent.
So guys, they're going to hide into the bush there. They're going to hide in the bush. They migrate but within here, moving around.
Okay.
They never go outside far, yeah. That is the male one. If you see him alone like that, he's marking.
Go on, take a video.
He's marking the territory. It's the male one, huh? Yeah.
After the lions, we found a herd of wildebeest. And then we went on a mad chase to see wild dogs. There's a small pack of 27 of this highly endangered species at Kadizora, and the guides know where the den is. But it was pretty special to find the wild dogs. While looking at the wild dogs, we saw a warthog jump into a hole. And Spark said that we were going to sit there and park until the wild dogs caught the warthog.
Oh, sorry.
They follow dogs because when the dog kills something, they will steal the meat.
Coward.
Internal enemies.
Coward.
Spotted hyenas.
I heard behind me.
Warning, this next section contains footage of nature in action, and if you don't want to see the food chain in action, please fast forward. Oh.
They went back to tell her.
You have to tell it to come.
Yeah,
It's a mother.
After the wild dogs devoured the poor warthog while it was still alive and chased off some hyenas that came as well, we returned back to the camp, and after lunch we went on a Makora ride. Makoras are canoes, and we took it into the delta, and it was stunningly beautiful and peaceful and relaxed, unlike the morning. A man named The Big was our guide. He was so sweet and patient and knowledgeable about the birds, which was mostly what we saw from the Makora. I liked the Makora ride much more than the madly chasing lions with collars. The next morning, we got up early and we went on a safari, and it was just us and the British couple. I think the Swiss couple left, in fact. We saw a herd of buffalo, and we saw a caracal and tawny eagle, a secretary bird, and then another mad chase for a leopard. was this man staying in the villa at Kadizora camp who did not get the memo that you're supposed to wear drab colors, tan, nothing too bright, for he was wearing pink pajamas, I kid you not. After lunch, we relaxed on the deck of our room. There was a lesser striped swallow nesting in the roof of our deck. In the afternoon, we went on another safari. We chased down the lion Pride again with the 2 males with collars. I checked out the trees and looked for birds that we had skipped on our mad chase, while the rest of them looked at the collared lions that looked like they were in a zoo to me.
I've already eaten, guys. I don't need to.
That evening, after a mediocre dinner, I made a mad dash for the swimming pool for my only chance to stargaze at Kadizora camp. It was so much darker in the Okavango Delta than anywhere else I had been in Africa, except for Chobe, and I drank in as much as I could of the beautiful dark skies. The next morning, we again went on an early morning safari with Sparks and the British couple, and again we tracked down the Pride, and this time there was a large herd of buffalo, and one of the lions charged the buffalo unsuccessfully. They're unsuccessful about 70% of the time. After we finally finished with the collared lions, not all of them were collared, by the way, but I was mad about it, we were finally permitted to stop for some cool birds, like the ground hornbill and the beautiful southern carmine bee-eater. I started to feel sick that evening. I had caught a vicious cold, but I managed to go on a boat ride in the Okavango Delta on the last day. We saw a gorgeous malachite kingfisher, and the delta was so pretty at dusk. Sparks was so pleased with the tip that we gave him that for the first time since we had been there, he showed up and had dinner with us that evening. And he also offered to take us out on a last safari the next morning before our flight back to Maun. But since I was so sick, we said no. Sparks asked for Pepper's phone number, I think because he wanted us to come back to Kadizora next year and bring some more tourists with us. He insisted on driving us to the airstrip to see us off, and we saw him waving from the plane. No offense to Sparks, he was a very talented guide, but I would never go back to Kadizora. On the flight from the airstrip, you can see the entire Okavango Delta from the plane, and we watched it from the window to Maun Airport. From Maun, we flew to Johannesburg, and from Johannesburg back to London. What an incredible, amazing trip. I didn't like Kadizora Camp that much, and I don't recommend it. It was too light polluted. My sister went to the Okavango Delta 2 years ago, and she stayed at Sagona, and she loved it. But the Delta was so beautiful, and we saw so many things that I never expected, like the wild dogs and numerous lions. I never expected that. And a leopard, and herds of buffalo and wildebeest, and so many beautiful birds. And finally, by accepting the less than optimal swimming pool area as the only somewhat available area to see the night sky from Kadizora, I watched the gorgeous gems of the Southern Hemisphere, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I highly recommend a trip to the Okavango Delta. I just don't recommend Kadizora Camp. If you go to Sagona. That's it for now. Dark skies forever. Tsula signing off.